Try to finish off this series on becoming relationship worthy, being worthy and deserving of the relationship that you want, attracting your partner to you, being attractive and having people gravitate towards you. And it begins with recognizing the distinction between the two primary sorts of relationship that they come in. Number one being a granted relationship, where each partner inevitably take each other for granted, and inevitably feeling the death knell of every loving relationship, by the way, feeling taken for granted is the inevitable outcome of taking each other for granted. And the other aspect, the other format a relationship come in is a relationship which is merited, which exists because it deserves to exist. It doesn't require arrangements or anything like that. People want to be in that relationship. Some people who doesn't understand what that relationship is, these are like your best friendships. Relationships without any requisite for arrangements. They exist because you love the person, you like the person, you value each other, and how you get to that relationship style of deserving, being worthy of your relationship, is a state of being deserving, which is deservedness or worthy fullness, having a relationship because the persons involved are worthy full of that relationship. They're deserving, they're worthy of that relationship. Meritedness, a relationship which is merited. And the last four letters in those words are NESS. Ness is a state of being, meaning a state of being deserving, a state of being merited, or a state of being worthy. And if you recognize the definition, the state of being is an action word, being is a verb, meaning what must you do so that you can become deserving of that relationship? What must you do so that you can merit the relationship? What must you do? What actions must you take so that you can be worthy of that relationship? Become worthy of people being attracted to you and gravitating towards you. What actions must you take? I gave the example in the previous video. If you want the truth, you have to facilitate. How do you deserve the truth? You have to facilitate open communication. And how you facilitate open communication is you communicate with them. This is an open communication platform. I promise you won't feel judged. I won't judge you. I won't condemn you for telling me the truth, being the person that you are. And I'm going to come back to that in a few seconds. How do you get answers? This is a test question. This is an IQ question. How do you deserve answers? You deserve answers when you ask questions. This might be befuddled. This might be crazy for some, but to get answers, you ask questions. Why do I say that? It's because a lot of people don't ask questions for fear of being diminished. Their ego might appear smaller to other people. That's essentially what the job of the ego is. The job of the ego is that it not be diminished in the eyes of others. That's all its job is. It doesn't give a fuck about you. It only gives a fuck about itself. I'm going to talk a lot about the ego in other videos. How do you deserve love? Now some people say, I deserve love because I exist. Now remember that deservedness is a state of being. Being is an action word. What must you do? In this context, for all intents and purposes, what must you do to deserve love? Well, people love their pets. I love my cats. And they don't do anything other than look out for themselves. Why is it that we love our pets? They merely exist. It's because they facilitate the three things that I insist you facilitate in your relationship. Do you know what those are? The SOR threes, successful open relationship threes that I teach, they facilitate it. They are unconditionally loving. They love you unconditionally. They are non-judgmentally accepting. They accept you as you are, whoever you are, however you are. And number 3, they're openly communicating. You can communicate about anything with them, and they're not judging you for it. You understand? Cats, pets, and even humans are incredibly lovable. The only reason that you have a lot of problems being loved or loving is because of the inhibitions you impart on yourself, or you impart or project onto other people. The inhibitions, the jealousies. Could you imagine a relationship without jealousy? Jealousy actually doesn't make sense in a relationship. Why would you be jealous? Let's see, what is jealousy and what is love? These are 2 definitions which people don't really recognize. Jealousy is a compounded emotion, compounded on each other, of fear of loss, and then the rage of feeling that fear of loss, which is what jealousy is. If you love your beloved, love is your wanting for their happiness intrinsic to your own. The same happiness you want for yourself, you want that for them. If you love them, why would you be jealous? You would genuinely want for their happiness, whether or not you're involved and whether or not it's in the same bed with you. So, to be worthy of love, you must love them because they love you already. They're in a relationship with you. Do you remember that in the beginning of your relationship, you were infatuated with each other? You had admiration, adoration, respect, and you cared about them, you cared for their happiness. Whatever made them happy makes you feel tremendous joy. And then certain things happen. You took them for granted. They took you for granted. And now you're in a relationship where each other take each other for granted. And now when you communicate without respect, without admiration. You just take their communication as granted. You no longer need to get their attention. You just presume their attention. You no longer do things for them to like you. You just presume they're liking you. You don't do things for their pleasure. You just presume they're pleased by you. You don't do things for them to love you. You just presume they love you. A granted relationship. And most people tragically do not recognize this because it is the convention. It is what you are taught is the standard relationship. The standard model is what it's called. Standard model being each other grant the other to each other, inevitably feeling taken for granted. So what actions must you do? Let me check how many, 30 seconds, okay. So what actions must you do in the relationship so that you deserve love? You must be loving. Love your partner. Want for their happiness, well-being, and gain. You must demonstrate to them that you genuinely love them by genuinely wanting for them to do what makes them happy, satisfied, fulfilled, and actualized. Whether or not you're involved, whether or not it's in the same bed as you. If they're enjoying something with another partner or another person, even if that person is incredibly attractive, you want that for them. Hey sweetie, how was your night with that person? Tell me all about it. I would love to hear it. I have absolutely zero jealousy. I genuinely want for what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled. You're going to hang out with so-and-so? You're going to hang out with that cute fellow or that cute gal? Let me know if you need a ride. What can I do to help? Be yourself. Ask them to be themselves. Allow them to be themselves by being non-judgmentally accepting. Be the man that they are. Be the woman that they are. Communicate in their own particular ways and have their own desires. If you can't facilitate those desires, or you don't have those abilities, allow them to pursue other people that has those abilities or those characteristics. Be openly communicating. Facilitate open communication by allowing them to communicate without being judged or emotionally or psychologically blackmailed. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.